Hey Wiglets, welcome to another episode of Wiggin' Out with Bobby Z. Today is a tutorial and a Wiggy Weavy Wednesday. Yay! And I'm rocking my Yeah Son Lisa Lampanelli shirt. I saw her in Pittsburgh a couple years ago and I love her to death. So I bought the shirt and now it's a little big on me because I lost weight, but whatever. So today's tutorial, I'm going to show you guys quickly how I like to do my French twists. Now, I was watching other tutorials on YouTube, Dragology, who I love. You're amazing, so hi out there. He does a tutorial on French twists as well, and it's great to see that I'm not the only one that does them the way that I do them, so he and I do them very similarly, which is great. So this is what it's going to look like. As you can see, the front of this wig is still in hot rollers and regular rollers. But this is what a French twist looks like when you do it. So as you can see, it's nice and tight and French rolled. It's not perfect. I admit there are some scragglies in there and it is kind of frizzy. This is going on stage for a benefit. So as I always say, 5 rows back is great. So this is what it's going to look like when you're done. So let's get started. To do this, you're going to need a wig that is pretty long. You can do a French twist on something that's shorter, but it's not going to give you the right shape as something that's longer. If it's really, really, really long, it's even better if you're going to do a big curly top on it or something like that. It's best to have something really long. This wig is only about to here, maybe to like the nip area. It's not super, super long, but it gives you the length that you need to do it. You're also going to need a brush. Oh, this one has hair in it. Blech. You're going to need a brush. You're going to need a tail comb. You're also going to need hairspray of your choice. As I always say, I use Pump It Up and I use the Got To Be glued. And in case I've had people ask me where I get this big size, occasionally I see them at CVS or Rite Aid, but these I picked up the other day at Beauty 35 in New York, which is 35th Street and 8th Avenue. But occasionally you can see the big size at pharmacies. You're also going to need big 3-inch bobby pins, much like these. You want to make them, you should have them match your wig, but I don't have any blonde ones right now, so I'm using black, which I know should be a faux pas, but again, 5 rows back, it's fine. You can also paint them if you want. Just make sure you put them on a piece of paper or a piece of cardboard before you paint them. You can use a floral spray, or you can use spray paint, or you can even use whiteout, or you can use nail polish, and you can paint them, and you can just paint the tip right here, the part that's going to show, to match the color of your wig, so then that way when you pin them in, they disappear. Okay, so first thing you're going to want to do is after you set your wig, or if your wig's already curly, you want to pull the whole top and the front bits up. Now, usually when I do a French twist, or if I do something where the front is going to be up and the back is going to be down, you have to be careful on how you part and section on the sides. Because if you part and section too far back, you're going to get a disconnection where this hair's all going to be here, and this hair's going to hang down from back here. But you need to have hair hanging behind right there to make it look more realistic and natural. So what I do is, as you can see, I have them in hot rollers still, and that's just to help me keep it nice and clean and sectioned off. So I really only have the front inch or so of hair in this hot roller, and the rest of it is hanging down. So then that way, if I was to leave the back down, this would all pull forward, and you'd still have body and movement behind the ear. Because if you do it like that, then you're going to have a weird line, and you're going to be able to see wefting and all of that. So first step when you're going to do a French twist is you want to count how many wefts are in the back of your wig. Doing this on a blonde wig is probably not the best idea with the brightness that I always get in my videos. Sorry about that. So this wig has a center. This wig, as you can see, it has a center ribbon. Sometimes wigs will split center with ribbons. Most of the time they are a center ribbon. So what I like to do is I like to count around. So I'll count right now. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So there's 7 ribbons, meaning that 4th ribbon is going to be your middle ribbon. That's how you know where the center of your wig is. So after you section off the front and a little bit of the sides from your wig, I'm going to move this back now so you guys can see. Once you section that off, you want to take your brush and you just want to brush through the back of the wig. Now this I hot rollered on medium size hot rollers, and then I steamed it so it gets a nice big curly wave to it. If you don't steam it, you'll just get a curl mainly on the end if that's what you're looking for. But if you're doing a French twist, you really need body and shape in that hair all the way to the root, or else it's really not going to turn out that good. So what I like to do is I then start in the center, and I usually do this with I usually do my French twists with a brush versus teasing it with a comb, just because I find that it's easier to brush through if you do it with a brush versus a comb. So as you can see, I am just ratting the crap out of this hair. And I'm going to take my Pump It Up, or if whatever hairspray you like, I prefer this because it gives me a nice strong hold. I'll take that and I'll brush and I'll continue to tease it. Now as you can see, I really don't have any long pieces. If you watched my video on how I do my long curly big wigs, you notice I tease them and then I let the length hang. If I'm doing a French twist, I don't. I want to get as much ratting and spray into that length as I can. So that's your first section, and then usually I will go 2 sections in the middle and then I'll go around. And as you can see, I'm teasing the hair together and then I'm teasing it up. Okay, so I decided to speed this up again for you guys. As you can see, I continue to tease, starting on the ends and building up a nice base. Always continue to connect your pieces together so that you don't get individual pieces. You'll get one nice big ball of hair. Okay, so as you can see, I have a big, fuzzy, cotton candy ball. That's what you want the back to look like. Now, I know you guys are looking at this and you're like, oh my god, what the hell? How am I going to ever fix this? My rule of thumb is tease 3 to 4 times bigger than you ever want it to be and brush it down. It's so much easier to tease it way too big and brush it smooth to get it smaller than to go back through and separate and add more teasing in where there's not enough. So always over tease versus under tease. Okay, so now comes the fun part. Now you're going to smooth it out and you're going to start your French twist. So I'm going to smooth mine across, going from right to left, and then my roll is going to come across to the left side. So remember how I mentioned the center mark before? What you're going to want to do is you're going to use that center mark as a guide as to where your French twist is going to live. So as you notice, there is a center ribbon, and there'll be a ribbon on either side. If your wig has 2 center ribbons, you can use this 2 center ribbons or the ones outside of it as your guiding points or in between. It all depends on how the wig's made. So I'm showing you on a wig with a center ribbon. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to figure out which way you want your roll to go. If you want your roll to go across to the right, you need to smooth it from the left. If you want your roll to go to the left, you want to smooth from the right. So my roll is going to be coming from the left side, so I'm going to be smoothing on the right side first. So as you can see, I'm just softly brushing the top layer of the wig. You don't want to get all that teasing out, and also, especially if it's going to be for a musical or if it's going to be on stage and no one's really going to be looking at it up close, it doesn't have to be perfectly smooth unless you're going to be like up close or using it in a photo shoot. If it's going to be on stage or if it's going to be in a club where it's dark and you have a little bit of that of the frizz showing, it's fine. The light will kind of dissipate it out, or if you take a picture, a flash will dissipate it out. So don't worry if it's a little too frizzy. Also, a little quick tip, especially if you're doing something that's going up in a French twist or something tight like that, even though you're blocked down here in the corners, you really want to take these side portions of the wig and in the middle around here, you want to block those forward. What that's going to do is that's going to give room for the back of your head. That's also going to give room for your hair underneath. And it's also going to make sure that you'll able to pin the sides down and camouflage your real hair. Or your hairline or whatever. So I'm just brushing and smoothing this hair out. Like that. And I like to then go in with my dry spray, as I call it. And I like to spray as I go. This is hard to do on a tripod stand because I'm used to like brushing and raking through the hair. So now what you're going to do is you're going to find that center ribbon again, which for me is right here. So if your hair is coming across this way, what you want to do is you want to find your center ribbon and you want to move in the direction that the hair is going over one ribbon. So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to go boop and I'm going to go over to this ribbon right here. That is going to be your guideline for where to put your line of bobby pins to hold this side down. And then when you roll it back over, you're going to use the other ribbon, you're going to use the ribbon on the opposite side of the center ribbon as your guide as to where the end of your roll will be. And then that way when you're done, your roll will be exactly in the center of your wig. I'm using big black bobby pins because I don't have any bronze ones or blonde ones right now, and this is going to be on the inside of a French twist, so you really can't see it anyway. So you want to smooth it out, and you want to find that ribbon over here. So here's my center ribbon. I'm going to go one over in the direction that the hair's going, and you're going to want to put a bobby pin right there. Going down right on that piece of wefting, and you want to go all the way down. Now, usually when I see people do French twists, they use the little bobby pins, and I don't like those because they don't really hold a lot of hair, especially in a wig. So I like to use the jumbo 3-inch bobby pins, but feel free to use whatever you have laying around. Experiment. That's how you get better. Experiment and practice. So you want to pull the hair over again, and you want to make sure that you are making a straight line of bobby pins down. Perf. That's much better. Okay. So I just closed my blinds a little bit so you guys could see a little better. Okay. So this is the center ribbon, so I moved over one to make my line of bobby pins. And I usually start from the top, so then that way, when I get to the bottom portion, I can pull that bottom portion up towards the top, and I can pin it up out of the way so it doesn't hang. Once you have that guideline, you'll be able to see straight down where your pins have to go. So then I'll put one here. Then I'll put a line of bobby pins right up through. And you want to make sure that you are going through all of that teasing and you're going into the wefting and the ribbon underneath. That way, when you go to pull this and brush it in the opposite direction, it's not going to move. So now you can see I have these two going down, these three going up. So then what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to take a bobby pin and go the opposite direction to the original line of bobby pins. So these bobby pins are going down and going this way, so I'm going to go up going that way. And basically what that does is that's just going to lock those bobby pins in place. So as you can see, I'm just going through, pulling the hair tight, and then locking those bobby pins in place. Like that. All right. So now that I have my French roll half done, I'm just going to spray the crap out of this side of the hair with my wet spray, just because it holds a little better. And then you're just want to go, if I could talk right, that'd be great. You're just going to want to go in with a tail comb or something that has more of a finer teeth to it. And you want to go through and you want to smooth that out. Now, as you can see the wefting, and you can see in between the pieces of cap right here. If you're worried about people seeing that up close or whatever, you can do a rooted wig line along the side, or sometimes I will take a piece of wefting and I'll stretch this really good, and I'll sew the wefting on the underneath side, and then when you fold it over, you get a nice solid line and you don't see the wefting underneath. But since these are going on stage and they're going to be in a show and they're going to be dancing and moving the whole time, no one's really going to see it, especially if you match the wig cap that you're wearing underneath to the piece and you pin it correctly. No one will ever know. So you want to just smooth out those pieces, make it nice and smooth. Okay. So now she looks kind of crazy, but you know, this could be a kind of cute look if you want like an asymmetrical thing. You could pull it all over and kind of do that. But I'm going to take it one step further, and I'm actually going to do the French roll. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go the opposite direction, and I'm going to start brushing through all of this tangled madness back here. So usually what I'll do then is I'll kind of start on the ends, and I will start at the ends and kind of rake my brush through it to get it smooth. And like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect, especially if it's going on stage, and especially if it's going to be in a big house, or if it's a big stage and you're going to be very far away. It doesn't matter. That thing could be ratty as hell and nobody would ever know. If you saw some of the way wigs on Broadway look up close, you'd be scared. So I'm kind of brushing it out and I'm making it smooth. Not perfect, because then you wouldn't have any teasing in it at all if you got it smooth. Okay. So now, as you can see, that's already starting to take the shape of a French twist. And you like my burn on my arm? Isn't that wonderful? Ugh, it hurts so bad. So now that it's all brushed over this way, what you're going to want to do is you're going to go through, go in with your hairspray, spray it down. You want to spray it down, you want to brush it all over to make it smooth across. Now there are two ways once you get to this step of doing a French twist. I'll show you both, but I'm only going to pin one of them. So the first way you can do it is if you're doing something that is just going to be a French twist, you're not really going to have anything up in the top or curls or anything. You brush the hair all over, and I'll just wrap it around my finger like you're doing a pin curl. And then all you do is you just kind of roll and zhuzh the hair as you get into place. And that's how you do a traditional French twist, except for me, this is going to be a big bouffant beehive thing, so I need to have my ends free. This also is what you want to do if you want to do a French twist and put big curls on top, or if you want to do a French twist and put a big fall on the top or something like that. You really want to leave your ends go so that you can fill out the top portion. I'm just going to brush this through a little more. And then what I usually do if I'm going to need my ends to hang is I'll brush through my ends. This wig is just turning and rolling everywhere. And I start on the bottom portion and I fold it up kind of like a taco, or like pretend you're working at Chipotle and you kind of want to fold it up and over. And then basically what that does is it just gives you the nice shape of the French twist. And then you want to look at the top of it and you want to make sure that you line up with the ribbon that's one over from the center. So you lined up your bobby pins one over to this way for your line of bobby pins. So then when you do your French roll, you want to make sure you line up one over the opposite direction, and then you'll make sure that your French roll sits exactly in the center of your wig. And I'm trying to line up with this ribbon right here. So once you get it in place where you want it, you want to take a bobby pin and just hold it through the top, so you're going through the center of the burrito and you're holding that piece in place. Once that top portion is in place, you take your tail comb and your hairspray and you start to spray to get it nice and tacky. And then what I like to do is I like to kind of comb it over, and then I'll flip it underneath with my tail comb as my hand moves the French twist over, and then I will pin into it, and I like to pin going down. So then that way you're going to anchor into those bobby pins that are your anchor points underneath. So you want to fold it over, pull it over with your hand, and you want to add that bobby pin going down. And I like to go diagonally in and down. And as you can see, you can barely see those bobby pins. You don't want to have a bobby pin just sit there like this. Number one rule of hairdressing, wig dressing, life in general, hide your bobby pins. No one wants to see them. No one wants to know actually what is all holding that together. Especially when you're doing a French twist, if you have pins or hairpins or bobby pins or anything like that showing, it destroys the illusion of the hair just holding itself magically in place. Sure, have your bobby pins showing, but I'm going to judge you for it, so I'm going to come for you if you do. This isn't a great one for an example because this, my tripod stand is not very sturdy for me to pull and tug on hair like I normally do, but it gives you the idea. So then, again, you're going to kind of smooth that hair over with your hand to get that burrito shape over. So now you can see that it is nice and rolled up into itself. You can also, move it over even more depending on what you like. I like the way that this is turning out, so I'm going to leave it as it is. You're going to want to go through and you're going to want to really anchor these pins in there. So kind of just, again, push the hair over. And then once you have them going in down, then you can start going in up. And going in up is what's going to really tuck it into place and give you a nice, strong, hard twist. Much like that. Okay, and you really want to push those pins in. Now, if I was using blonde pins or a bronze pin, it wouldn't be as visible as a black one is. If you get worried or anything, you can always take a blonde hairspray and just go real quick on that area, and it'll kind of color the pins. So that's how you do a French twist. Now, I left mine hanging, like I explained to you guys. I left mine hanging so that I can fill out the top of my bouffant here. But you are always free to tuck that in. You can also make this into a cute bun and put the bun on top or something. It's all, what you want to do with it. And a lot of requests for the French twist ever since I posted pictures the other day on my Instagram of big bouffant beehive French twist wigs that I was doing for a benefit. So I decided to do a video on how I personally do them and a little tips and tricks along the way to help you get it to be center and get it to be even. So if you guys have any questions or comments and concerns or stuff you want to see in a future video or anything like that, be sure to email me. My email is down in the box. Be sure to check out my Facebook, my Instagram, and all of those fun things. Those links are also down in the box. Follow, subscribe, and I'll see you guys later. Thank you. Bye.